Hey, it's TC, everybody, and welcome to Attack of the Hack. Today's topic, Johnny Manziel. Will he ever play again? Should he ever play again? And we'll talk about Johnny with Mr. Jesse Reed, the managing editor from over at sportsnot.com. I'm going to let you start again this week, Jesse. What are your thoughts on
Okay.
Johnny football, and where do you stand?
Johnny football is he's done. He's toast. It's a sad story to be perfectly honest. And the kid has absolutely zero control of his life. He is lying in the media now, even about where he's staying, who he's staying with. He says he's not drinking, and then he comes out of the club, and TMZ is right there, and he's clearly been drinking and lying. And I mean, has he even been throwing a football? Has he even been working out, or is he just partying all the time? And then in his world, he probably thinks, "Oh, I'm still going to be signed. I have nothing to worry about." He's in this cloud of, "I never get in trouble for anything." This and NFL teams are looking at this kid now and thinking, "Man, he has no clue. He has no clue about reality." I don't think he's ever going to play again unless he has one of those come to Jesus moments and actually hits bottom and changes his life for good. I mean, otherwise he's going to be in a cycle that never ends.
Yeah, he's clearly in that cycle, and I get that. He's kind of like a child star, those child stars back in the '80s who would have the success, or the Macaulay Culkins of the world, who would star in Home Alone and just this huge movie, and then all of a sudden, oh, now I or the Biebers or the Lindsay Lohans. He's kind of got that disease in some ways, but here's my
Yep.
thing. I think Johnny's got enough talent. He proved it in college, and he's showed a little bit of it in the NFL. I think that Johnny Football should party his ass off during the 2016 season and just like you said, hit that rock bottom moment. But have fun, hang out in Denver. It's the Mile High State now, literally. There's no team in Oregon, so he's not going to get high in Oregon. Nobody's going to go to Oregon if he's a footballer. The Broncos are at least there. He can stay relevant. He can hang out with some of his maybe his buds there. He can literally have his buds in Denver because of legal marijuana. And and after that, he needs to then, in my humble opinion, talk to the Arena Football League. I think that this guy can take the Warner route. I think because he's got the immaturity. Let him get it. Let him get the partying out of the system, and then once he realizes, his agent or his manager calls him up and says, "Hey Johnny, you and your entourage, you're running out of cash," and he's like, "Oh crap." Okay, now I'm going to go to the Arena Football League. I'm going to prove myself, play for the LA Kiss or whatever, and then have that moment where, because Johnny's only what, 24 right now, right?
23.
Oh, he's only 23. Kurt Warner hit the NFL when he was 28. So I think he's got a little maturity level to go. He came out of school early, didn't he? He came out after his junior year,
Yeah,
right?
he was a sophomore, I believe.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So he came out of school early. Let it get him out of his system. And I think this guy can still have a career, but it's probably not going to be anytime this decade. It's going to be in the next decade that Johnny Football brings it forward. So I say, yeah, that's my opinion. What are your thoughts on
Well,
that crazy idea?
let's just throw some cold water on the fact that he's got all this talent. First of all,
Oh,
he made so many plays in college, scrambling outside the pocket, throwing big bombs down the field to Mike Evans. He didn't really succeed that much in a structured offense setting. He was more of a get out of the pocket kind of guy. And we've seen in the NFL, smaller quarterbacks who can't play in the pocket don't usually do well long term. If you look at his career stats, he hasn't even gotten 60% of his passes. He's a 57%. And in for his career, 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with a passer rating of 74.4. That says average. I mean, maybe a little below average as far as if we're looking at stats. Okay, he's got the arm, he's got the legs. Everybody knows he can move. but he's not really an NFL caliber quarterback to this point in his career. And so teams are looking at that. They're looking at the fact that he can't. And what's really sucks, as far as what you were saying, he's not a big fan of weed. He likes the alcohol. He
Uh,
boozes out, and it seems like he's got a real problem in that area. And his own father has said that he worries that he might not see his 24th birthday if he keeps out where he's going. When your own dad, who is never critical of you in your entire life, who gives you money and money and money, he's a rich guy, and when your own dad, who's never been critical of you, comes out and says, "I'm worried he's not going to live to 24 years old," that tells you there's a real problem. This kid, he says there's no problem. I got no problem. I'm not even drinking. But the evidence clearly points the other way. So he's got a problem. He's not really that good at NFL football. Maybe the Arena League would pan out. But in reality, can anybody imagine that he's going to stay sober long enough to get through an entire season without any incidents? I'm not convinced.
yeah. So we can call him Johnny Walker instead of Johnny Manziel, or maybe Jack Manziel. So
Something. Yeah, he needs another nickname at this point.
I think that. See, I think, and you said it that as far as his passing and stuff, and he's kind of a running quarterback and stuff. Maybe that's where the Arena Football League could help him, because obviously the fields are much smaller from a width perspective. So if he's going to run, he's going to maybe have a little tougher time, and then maybe he learns how to throw a little better too in the Arena Football League. So that's my answer to Johnny Football. I think that you give him 4 more years, basically. It's like he's going to college now.
Going back to school.
You get him a year to hit rock bottom. Give him a year to clean up, and then you give him 2 more years in the Arena Football League. And then by the time he's 27, he's matured. He understands the game better. He's a better quarterback. And then the San Francisco 49ers, because they've got nobody
Oh,
4 years later, sign Johnny Football, and he leads them to a Super Bowl loss. I mean, you know what I mean.
we got the Johnny Manziel football rehab plan figured out, baby.
So yes, I still, if I'm an NFL team, I keep my distance, but I tell his manager or his agent that, hey, we'll watch Johnny, and we want, and here's what we think should happen. But yeah, this is my opinion. So there you go.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So who's the hack today? Am I the hack saying give Johnny Football 4 more years to figure it out, or is Jesse the hack saying, hey, he's done now and he needs to find himself basically. There you go. So there you go. Big show in the book. Have yourself a wonderful week. I'll see you in the emergency room.